All right, popping back in for another segment. Make sure that you do like and subscribe. But we are kind of segueing and kind of we want to juxtapose this with our latest segment, talking about Haney's dominant performance over Regis Prograis, and talking about what is the logical next steps for Devin Haney and even Regis Prograis, but within the context of the of reviewing the 140 pound landscape, right? So at this time, so the name that Bill Haney was calling out was Tank, 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 right? So almost kind of like
Not gonna
almost like
happen.
almost like Candyman, you know what I'm saying? Like say my
Yeah,
name 3 times and stuff like that. But
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
but that's a way. So that is almost similar to. I know I keep bringing up Floyd, but I think that they looked at the Floyd blueprint and that you could kind of bring up somebody's name, like a Pacquiao or something that even if you don't have any intentions of that person being your next fight, but what it does is allow you to kind of get in front of the narrative and say that, hey, I call this person out. I said this person, even though there's these logistical challenges and these other issues that might come into the fray, but there is something to be said about that. But so
The
Boston,
young people call that clout chasing, though. That which is a bad thing. The youngins call that clout chasing.
it is, but I mean, at the same time, if clout chasing allows you to make these 7 and 8 figure paydays and stuff like that, then what you're just an elephant that's kind of swatting away these flies with your tail because you've got these internets kind of people that are coming at you. But I mean, with that said, um, we had talked about earlier, Boston. You said that you didn't think there was a lot of options for Haney at this point. But I actually read a report where there's the option of taking on Ryan Garcia, which is they're under the same banner
Not gonna happen.
of the zone. Uh,
Not.
but
Look,
there's also, and then I mean, I mean, which I don't think is, I to me, what I think is unlikely to happen is fights against Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis. But
but
also
those
the
guys are 135 pounders, also, right? Which is if this is me being putting on my ultimate of objectivity hat. As much as I'd love to see them fights, as much as I've called for them fights, Devin Haney's in a different weight class now, right? And if I'm a handler of Haney or Tank Davis, I mean that's the beginning and the end of the conversation.
yeah,
Haney can say my name all he wants to. Haney is a 140-pound champion now. He's got mandatory obligations now as a champion. I am a 135-pound whatever Tank
but
is, whatever that interim
yeah,
position he has.
but
Not in
didn't
my
Tank
weight class, not my concern, not my problem.
but didn't Tank win a belt at 140 pounds?
He's got some secondary
Barrios,
title
yeah, yeah.
in the
So the guy that I was,
WBA.
I was talking about earlier was Barrios.
Oh, but
Um,
he vacated that shit though. He vacated that shit, and that was years ago, and he's never been back to 140 pounds. Again, that's me just playing devil's advocate here. Me, the boxing fan, would love to see him go back up there and fight that fight, but he ain't been back up there. He wouldn't even fight Ryan Garcia at 140 pounds. He made him come down to whatever or Ryan agreed to it, whatever the case may be.
136, yeah.
The
But then
fight
there
didn't happen at 140 pounds.
And then speaking of bringing it back to Haney, so then there is the boogeyman of the division, which is Subriel Matias, which is
There's the
apparently was there an offer? Like I heard there was an offer that was sent, then it wasn't.
yeah, there was so we're recording this now on December the 11th. So on the morning of December the 11th, there was an interaction between Matias's trainer and the father of Devin Haney, Bill Haney. They went back and forth about an alleged offer that was put out there, $4 million offer that Matias and the Haney fanboys were running around saying that Matias turned this down. Matias's coach shot that down. Nobody turned down $4 million. That's the short version. Matias's trainer said that he would get with Matias's manager, whose English language skills are limited. Bill Haney said he had already called Matias's manager and got the runaround. Again, Matias's trainer explained that the manager doesn't speak very good English, that it would all get worked out. So that's the short version. Here's the play, though. We know for a fact that Teofimo Lopez and his people sent Matias an offer earlier this week. So here's the game, and this is the game that I'm the Game of Thrones aspect to this within this division. The first guy to unify is the guy that runs the table. The first guy that unifies this division is the guy that gets to dictate to the other guys, right? The only super A side in this division is Ryan Garcia, right? Ryan Garcia is not even in a position to fight for a belt, not yet anyway. So Matias quietly is the guy who has the most options, because Matias is the guy that's getting the offers. It's not Devin Haney. Matias is the one that's receiving the offers. It's Matias's team that received the offer from Teofimo Lopez. It's Matias's team that Bill Haney reached out to, not the other way around. So Matias is in a very, very interesting position of leverage. Go ahead. What you gonna say?
No, it is, but at the same time, like there's a way that you could kind of use somebody to push your own narrative, right? So if like and then I'm playing devil's advocate. So if somebody is developing this reputation within the division, and I'm Teofimo Lopez, and I know that okay, he's not going to be ready to fight at a certain time, and I go and make an offer to fight at a certain date, and then they're gonna like, well, we're not gonna be ready to fight. Then you can run to the press and be like, oh, we offered him a fight, and he said he wasn't ready. And then
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It is, but it's not genuine. And the same thing with the Haneys. So this is what the Haneys said or whatnot. So this is from Bill Haney's mouth. He said that I gave Peter Kahn a call about it. He didn't sound too much boogeyman to me at $4 million. I called him and said, Devin said, let's talk. He said the kid wants 4 million. So I waited about 30 minutes and called back. He said, no, really, the kid wants 4 million. So now they can go and say that no. So now this kid is like pricing himself out of this
Peter
fight.
Peter Kahn don't work with Subriel Matias. That was one of the big
I know. So exactly. So what they're doing is
today.
like they're using. So this speaks to the
who is
viability.
The they that talking about? Who's using who? What are you trying to say?
I'm saying so Haney and Teofimo Lopez are using Subriel Matias to push the narrative without giving really genuine offers or whatnot. So one is saying that, well, he wants 4 million. Like, come on, that's ridiculous. And it was like, bro, like you didn't even really speak to his manager, but you're going to the press and putting out, and then Teofimo.
I see what you're saying. You're
right?
saying this is information warfare here that's being
waged.
Yeah,
and they're trying to use this guy's name as the boogeyman to kind of push this narrative to say that so and use it as a way to not take a fight from him, but at the same time to say that, hey, I went right at the boogeyman and I offered him a fight, knowing that he wouldn't be ready because of injury, are saying that we tried to negotiate and the guy priced himself out of this fight.
Well, I will say this, having heard Bill Haney talk way too much this morning, he did not sound like a guy who was playing information, control the narrative type games. I mean, he asked for the manager's number. He asked for the number of the manager's son who does the translating. Did not sound like Bill Haney was playing little games here. Now, I heard this theory about Teofimo.
Why is that? So but why would he run to the press and say that I talked to Peter Kahn? Because Subriel Matias seemed like, based off of that, this is what they said, has not received any calls about negotiations to face Devin Haney. Peter Kahn has nothing to do with Subriel Matias. So why even go and put that narrative out there?
Well, apparently Bill Haney has worked with Peter Kahn in the past, and Peter Kahn does manage a lot of the Puerto Rican fighters. I get it. I understand. I fair enough. That's fair
So,
criticism. So
so that's not a genuine offer. That's kind of like that to me. That's clout chasing the same way that Tia female, because the one thing that they do is that they go and run to the press. Like Bill Haney was the first one to go and be like, he don't sound like no boogeyman to me. I talked this,
Well,
and
Tio didn't
the
run
same
to the
thing.
press. Remember, Tio didn't run for the press. That was Ness from the Boxing Voice. Shout out to those guys. Ness had an interview or spoke, I believe, with
That's still running to the
a
press.
manager. You said what?
That's still running to the press. Like you're putting out a narrative like
No,
so.
no, no. But Matias's manager told that to Ness. It wasn't anyone from Tiafimo's team. Tiafimo's team confirmed it, but it was Matias's team that told Ness, "Hey, Tio did reach out and did send an offer, but we're not going to be ready by Super
I
Bowl
know, but,
weekend." So that
hold on right there. So so that just by that statement, categorically, that is a response. So if there's a response, that means that somebody has already put a narrative out there to that. Because if somebody has to go and confirm something, that means that something is already out there.
okay, Cam, I guess I'm confused as to what it is you're
What I'm
getting at
saying is
here, though,
that
because it's easy for these guys to just not call at all.
why did Matias team had to go and confirm that somebody had gave them an offer for a fight to Teofimo Lopez? Because somebody went
Ness
to the
reached out to
press.
them. Ness reached out to them with those guys, from what I understand. This wasn't
I
like
know,
a
but so
straight
but like
leak.
but how so Ness is the media. So how did Ness get this information?
Ness called the promoter. He called the team.
But I'm saying so he's not gonna blindly call somebody and be like, hey, did you get an offer from Teofimo Lopez?
Oh well,
Teofimo
I don't know
Lopez
why. I don't. Well,
contacted
wait a
them.
second. We don't know
They
why Ness
contacted them and
called.
said we sent an offer to them.
Nah, that's not. You're jumping to crazy conclusions now. Well, we have no idea what the pretext was for Ness calling
To me, if
the team. I don't know.
if somebody comes to me to confirm a story, that means that somebody has given them a story or a narrative, and then they're asking me if that's true or not.
Okay, fine. Here's the overall point that I'm trying to make before we went down that rabbit hole. Whoever gets to two belts first runs the table. Subriel Matias has a working relationship because of his promoter. He's fought on PBC. I believe he's fought on Matchroom, and I believe he's also fought on Top Rank. This guy's manager has a good working relationship with the three major players in the sport. If I'm Al Heyman, I'm running to Subriel Matias's team and offering Rolly Romero up on a plate. Rolly Romero, Subriel Matias for a unification fight in New York City, Puerto Rican Day Parade. Once Matias destroys Rolly and unifies, now guess what? Devin Haney, you want to unify? You got to come to Amazon Prime and unify, right? Tiafimo, you want to unify? You got to come to Amazon Prime and unify. Now, again, like I said, Matias's team does have a lot of promotional leeway, but Al Heyman has a very, very almost a supernatural way of inspiring this loyalty, right? If he gives Matias a shot at a unification, you will see Subriel Matias's next 3 fights will probably be on Amazon Prime.
All right.
And you will force the hand of the other guys to have to come to Amazon Prime to unify. That's all I was getting before we went down that rabbit hole.
All right. So
Sorry.
we want to close. We want to let Coach kind of close out this segment because he has a unique perspective that he can bring. So Coach has he's trainer. He's also a promoter in this situation. So at this time, Coach, if you were the person that was in charge of Devin Haney, speaking as a trainer for him, so knowing what he can do within the ring, but also knowing the kind of advantage and disadvantage that he has against his opponents, and also as a promoter who is trying to maximize his drawing ability, but also his opportunity to make the most money that he can. What is the path or route that you would carve out for your fighter at this time?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm going with, piggybacking off of what Boston said. I'm like this, hey, first one to get to Romero is King. Who, if Matias get to him first, or if Haney get to him first, you look across the board, be it Haney, Romero, Matias, Lopez.
That's what I'm saying. Like maybe even Ryan Garcia might even get to him. That's what they've been talking about.
Listen. Everybody has a daggone sniper's scope on Romero. Period. And I would be giving up whatever money, to, because it's what Boston said, man. That get the two belts, and it's on. You can work out anything. Progrades. If Haney get that belt from Romero, then don't matter who Al Heyman got or whatever. Yeah, maybe we can fight on your network, but you giving up X amount of money. Like it's just that's the thing, bro. So I got no amplifying comments, to be honest with you, man. I mean, that's just one of the things where, in terms of subject matter expertise, Boston can kind of run that thing down. You're gonna make a great partnership, bro. When I start back throwing more fights, bro, we find a hitter. You know what I'm saying? Like, who should we match him up with? But that's the thing in that 140 division, man. Now I don't know if we're talking about what the 140 division looked like or where we at in the segment, but if you're asking that, if I'm Haney, I'm trying to go across the board. I'm trying to go across the board. I'm trying to fight nothing but champions. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If you think you need a warm up before you can get to, Matias or Lopez, then you need to make that warm up, Ryan Garcia, which is going pull in some money if that fight can happen. But that 140 division, man, is just flat out wide open. And what I think you're gonna start seeing, man, is like, I'm ready to start seeing some of those guys, just kind of up under the cuff, man. The Gary Russells and Sandor. And I'm ready to see some of those guys try to fight. But listen, Haney, you got that belt. I would do my best to fight nothing but champions or whatever's gonna bring me that big money. And outside of the championships, money wise, you ain't gonna beat Ryan Garcia. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you ain't gonna beat. And let me say one other thing too about why I think this 140 division, man, it is probably about to become like a black hole. And what I mean by black hole, I mean just a gravitational pull. Because we were talking the same way about a 135, a while back. But now, even at the 135, man, I mean, it's drying up, man. I mean, look, you got Tank fighting Isaac Cruz again. Ain't nothing left up in that Joker, man. But Shakur and Tank Davis. It's like, look, y'all want the money fights? Y'all better go eat you some meatloaf and some biscuits and gravy and slide on up the daggone 140.
140.
That's what's going up on in that thing right now, man. And I wouldn't be surprised. Now for the people up under, the Frank Martins, as they're coming up, they might can, open up that division at 135 with it. But I just don't see, Tank fight Cruz. If it ain't Shakur, then what's really, really not an interesting fight, but a money making, moving the needle fight for him at 135. Like, really, what is it?
Loma. It's Loma. Loma.
But bro, I wouldn't even say Loma. Okay, it might be money wise because of the name frame. But listen, when Haney and Lomo, when Haney beat Lomo, to me, that's the same thing as when Canelo beat one of the Charlos. He beat both of them. So when Lomo lost to Haney, he done lost to Garcia and I don't even know if I even watched the fight, man. To be honest with you, bro. So what I'm getting at is 140 is that incredible black hole that has that gravitational pull that's pulling everybody that's saying, if you want that money and you want to be something, and you want to go down, have an opportunity to get both loot and legacy, come up to 140. That's what I'm saying, man. I hope that makes sense, bro.
Now, just if I could just jump in here real quick, Cam, just for the edification of our audience here. Sandor Martin apparently agreed to take step-aside money so that Haney could move up and challenge Prograis for his belt right away. Now that Haney is the champ, I believe Sandor Martin has first dibs at Devin Haney. I can't imagine that the network is overly excited about a Devin Haney Sandor Martin fight. So right. So Devin Haney is going to be in a position where unless Sandor Martin chooses to take step-aside money again, he's going to have to push for a unification because unifications trump mandatories. And if he can't get a unification done, he's going to have to fight Sandor Martin, which might explain why Bill Haney is being as aggressive as he is in trying to secure either a Matias fight or a fight. We haven't heard Teofimo Lopez's name get brought up. Teofimo Lopez is probably not part of the equation. He apparently is fighting in February. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
It is,
it's gonna be,
and I don't, just for edification. So Sandor Martin is fighting this weekend on the undercard of Morel Agbeko against
Sandor Martin is.
Sandor Martin is fighting a 8-round fight against Marcucci. I'm trying to think that what is that? Is a German, so that's a German flag. So it's on ESPN, the Zone. So I don't know if an 8-round fight against of Mark.
Oh, if it's on DAZN, it can't ESPN DAZN. It can't be on the Morel undercard. That's a Showtime fight.
Well, I mean, there's some affiliation with DAZN, but we'll go and kind of verify that. But he's fighting this weekend. He's actually, you're right, because this fight is in so that fight is in.
Oh, it's on the Bam Rodriguez, Sonny Edwards undercard.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right about yeah. So I don't know why they haven't missed the list, but he's fighting this weekend. But it's an 8-round.
Okay.
Fight, so I'm not sure about how much leverage he has at this point.
Well, he's the Mando, right? He's the Mando, and he has all the leverage that a mandatory challenger is going to have. But like I said, the guys over at DAZN, especially if those numbers don't come back terribly good, and I suspect the pay-per-view numbers for this fight aren't going to be the best. They will probably pressure Sandor Martin to either take step-aside money, or what you might see is an eliminator get called between Sandor Martin and Richardson Hitchens. Is what you might see happen. Hitchinson is number 2 in the WBC. He is also number 4 in the IBF, and nobody is in between Hitchinson and Matias in the IBF. As an Ergashev just lost. Hitchinson is also number 3 in the WBO. So yeah. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting. So the welterweight talk from Haney. Do we disregard that after? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I don't.
Is he blowing smoke, or are they trying to just maximize their options? I don't know.
No,
at welterweight, like.
It's just how you get leverage. You know what I'm saying? You make it say like, well, I can do this, I can do that. So that way, if you want somebody to take a fight on your terms, what you do is just present all of these options that you do have. And so, but
you know who he could fight? He could fight Stanionis. Stanionis was sitting waiting around for Virgil Ortiz for like 2 years now. The fight keep on getting canceled. And Stanionis.
I don't want to see that.
I know you don't want to see that fight, but would you rather watch Stanionis Haney, or would you rather watch Haney Sandor Martin?
I want to see Haney against Tank, Haney against Garcia, Haney.
Okay.
I mean,
right. And I want to
like the thing is that like if we start opening up these things, it's like Haney says that this is his words. He says he only wants the big fights. So if he's only doing those things, so it's either you said tank, 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 tank. When you can't like say that, and then you go and say like, well, I'm fighting Stanionis, because what he's gonna try to do is put out this narrative that we tried to make this fight, we called it Matias, we did all these other things, but this is the only guy that stepped up. And like, I don't buy that. I think if people really want to get into the ring with each other, that they will do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. It's just that the business and the politics of the sport, constantly, constantly working against us here as the fans. It's look, if he can't get a Matias fight, then he's gonna have to either fight a voluntary
Fight
at
Garcia.
147.
Y'all are literally both under the same promotion.
Yeah, but
Fight Garcia.
If you're Ryan Garcia's people, not Oscar and Bernard, because they don't really have the best of relationship. I'm sure Bernard Hopkins would love to throw him in there against Devin Haney at this point. But if you're the trainer, the dad of Ryan Garcia's pops, would you throw Ryan Garcia in there with Devin Haney right now? Like, what sense does that make? That's not, you're not doing your son any favors at this point. Like, why make that fight? Like, this is his first fight. First
I
fight
mean,
with Derek James. Like,
I know. I mean, it just means that you don't believe in the fight. I mean, that's like you're doing it from a very kind of critical lens and saying, like, come on, like, we know what we're looking at and we know what we're seeing. And like, this guy can't compete with Devin Haney at this stage. So why would we expose him to this? But there's also I wouldn't, I didn't think that he was gonna get into the ring with Tank Davis.
no, that was lightning in a bottle. That was lightning in a bottle for them. What you'll probably see from Ryan Garcia, you might see a Josh Taylor fight from Ryan Garcia, because that's a fight that's going to motivate Josh Taylor to get
I
back
think
on
there's
Weight Watchers.
nah. Josh Taylor is not fighting at 140. What I've heard is that it's more than likely, and then we need to wrap this segment though. But I heard
Okay.
more than likely that Devin Haney's next fight is going to be at 147 against Josh Taylor.
Where'd you hear that?
Boxing news.
Boxing news. Yeah. Okay. Well, wait. So you said Ryan Garcia, Josh Taylor, or Devin Haney, Josh Taylor?
Devin Haney, Josh Taylor.
Oh,
Because
I wouldn't do that.
Devin Haney has already stated that he wants to that he is thinking about fighting at 147. And to me, it might be a way for him to kind of avoid some of those killers around there, right? So you can kind of call out the names and do all of that, and then go fight somebody who I think is probably at this stage of his career less of an opponent at 147 at Josh Taylor. And
but Taylor's coming off a loss though. You know what I would do? You know what I would do? You know what I would do? And Dave, you're gonna have to one of these days. I'm telling you, I'm gonna make you some money. Devin Haney versus Conor Benn. Devin Haney versus Conor Benn in the UK at a catch weight.
Possibly.
At a catch weight, or fuck it, 147 pounds, or catch whatever.
It has to be 147.
That's the fight.
I can't see Conor being less than 147, but
well, now that he's not on all them fucking the super soldier serum, he don't have all the muscles now. He could probably come in a little under 147 pounds. That's a big fight in the UK.
Yeah, of course.
Conor Benn versus Devin Haney. Conor Benn is the last fight was a win. Taylor's coming off of a loss. There's not so much luster there. That's what, and Conor Benn has that relationship with Eddie Hearn in Matchroom. That's what you do. You do Conor Benn versus Devin Haney in the UK.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
Possibly.
Yeah.
All right. You want to wrap this up?
We're gonna wrap this up and jump into our next segment.
Like and subscribe.